got some news, Mizzou. Tonight, after 12 long years of appeals, Chris Simmons has finally been taken off the death sentence list. For those who don't know this case, in 1993, at the age of 17, Simmons murdered 46-year-old Shirley Crook of Cape Girardeau County, Missouri. He was then found guilty in 1994, once he had turned 18, and was sentenced to death. He appealed to the Supreme Court, believing that since he was a minor at the time of the murder, that the punishment was too harsh. Yesterday, March 1st, 2005, the Supreme Court ruled that his punishment violated the 8th Amendment of cruel and unusual punishment, so his sentence was reduced to life in prison. We now have news that our reporter Nick Vakaris has met with Simmons and is going to ask him a few questions. We go live with him now.
Thank you, Tyler. With me, I have Chris Simmons. Simmons, can you maybe tell us how you feel about the Supreme Court listening to your appeal?
Well, it feels good to finally be listened to, and I'm just glad that you're here. But, you know, I've just been sitting in my cell thinking about it.
Well, you said you were thinking about it. Can you maybe tell us about what happened that night so long ago?
Well, you see, John and my boy Charles, man, I mean, Charles was out there, man. He helped me rob the lady, and we got some drug money, but John, man, he wimped out, told the police, and the next day I had to tell the police and turn myself in.
Really? Well, thank you for telling us about that night, and we hope that you enjoy your time in prison. Maybe you can become good friends with Hillary. Back to you, Tyler.
Thanks, Nick. And for those who need a visual representation, we had our tech team create a lifelike reenactment. Here it is.
Chris Simmons and Charles Benjamin take Shirley Crook to the bridge.
No.
I'll throw you off the bridge.
No, don't do that.
Why is she still standing?
Wow, that was incredibly graphic and accurate. On a different note, here's Prosecutor Donald Rober with his opinion on the case.
What could be said about Simmons? Well, the murder he committed, it deserved capital punishment. Age should not be a factor when it comes to taking someone's life. Even in that fact, he was close enough to being 18. He should have been tried as an adult. We based our case off of a previous one back in 1989. It was Stanford versus Kentucky. Similar principle was applied in the pursuit of capital punishment. Could a 17-year-old or even a 16-year-old get capital punishment? The result came out, it is possible for anyone the ages of 16 and 17 to receive capital punishment for a horrific crime such as Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Roper, for your opinion on the case. We also have Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy to explain why the justices ruled the way that they did.
The first time that we heard about this case was actually only a few years ago. In 2002, a case called Atkins versus Virginia came into play. It discussed the constitutionality of giving the mentally ill the death sentence. The case really brought to light the entire issue of the death penalty, and it caused the Supreme Court justices to reconsider what we previously viewed as right. As a result, 5 of the 9 justices agreed with me when we looked into the Roper versus Simmons case and decided that the execution of minors violated the 8th and the 14th Amendment, which speak of cruel and unusual punishment. In our majority opinion, we declare that when a juvenile offender commits a heinous crime, that state can exact forfeiture of some of the most basic liberties. But the state cannot extinguish his life and his potential to attain a mature understanding of his own humility.
Thank you, Justice Kennedy. That's all we have on this case. We want to thank our guest speakers as well as our viewers. We hope you guys all have a good night, and we'll see you when the next scoop comes in. That's the news, Mizzou.